But let's just say 20 years from now, Lucasfilm decides they want to do a reboot. What would be your hopes and words of advice?
I'm 80 years old. In 20 years, I will give a rat's ass.
A few times in my life I've seen things. But I've been looking for this all my life.
Hi, I'm Sabina from Geek Culture in Singapore.
Hi.
Mr. Ford, it is such an honor to be talking to you today.
Thank you very much.
You've played this iconic role for over 40 years now. Do you still remember what it was like when you first told that you're going to be Indiana Jones?
I remember that it all happened in one day. George Lucas called me and said, I have something I want you to read. I said, okay, George, send it up to the house. An hour later, a script arrived. It took me 1 hour to read the script. I called back George and I said, I want to do this. He said, go over and meet Stephen, please. I went over to Stephen's house and we sat together for an hour, 2 hours, and we talked about it. And I was given the opportunity. Of course, there was a moment before this where I was not involved, and the role was to have gone to Tom Selleck. But Tom Selleck had another obligation that he had to fulfill. He had a television series that he'd signed on to do. So he was unable to do the Indiana Jones films. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you for a great career.
No, we know that this movie isn't like a passing of baton of sorts. There's no new Dr. Jones. But let's just say 20 years from now, Lucasfilm decides they want to do a reboot or cast a new Dr. Jones. What would be your hopes and words of advice for this hypothetical actor?
I'm 80 years old. In 20 years, I will give a rat's ass.
Really, nothing good to say.
No, I mean, you can control what you can control. When you ain't there, everything's up for grabs.
Okay, dogs. Now you've been in and departed from many iconic franchises. There's Star Wars, Blade Runner, and now Indiana Jones. I imagine that it's such a bittersweet feeling, but what's one thing that you're not gonna miss about being Dr. Jones?
There's not one thing that I'm not gonna miss. I'm gonna miss the camaraderie of Stephen and Jim. I'm going to miss the opportunity to play this character that the audience has such a warm spot in their heart for. But I'm not going to miss everything I love about acting because I have no intention to retire. I just want to keep telling stories, being part of the work of other real artists and ambitious people.
What are some stories you want to tell in the future then?
I don't know. I'm interested in everything about human relationships. I'm interested in the world. I have no sense of what I want to do. I want to be of service. I want to help tell stories. My job is assistant storyteller.
And you've been doing a really good job telling these stories, I gotta admit, as a fan. Now, we know that the Dialogue Destiny, deals with time traveling of sorts. If you could go back to any point of history, what would it be and why?
Well, Jim and I were talking about this the other day because it's a question that has been asked before. And we both thought, hey, wouldn't it be great to go back to New York City in the 50s when jazz was flourishing and to visit that time? Anyway, that's just because we're jazz fans. But, it's, I think what we do in the film is really powerful because we know so much about his past and his interests. And also, the device that's been chosen, the dial of destiny, is not the only thing that is about time. Age is about time, the ravages of time, how time changes you, and how much time any of us have on Earth. And so it's consistent, the MacGuffin, the object, is also imbued with emotion, because its parallel is in the form of Indiana Jones himself. So it's a really beautifully wrought, a beautifully constructed story, I think.